ahead and we have a special guest today. This is Ryan Juckett.
Hey, how's it going?
Are you allowed to talk about what you do 9 to 5?
Sure.
You are
I'm a game developer. I work at Bungie 9 to 5. Indie developer by night.
You do vehicles?
I'm the kind of lead on what we call the sandbox team, which is all the player control, so weapons, vehicles, abilities.
Nice.
What makes it fun.
Yeah. Because otherwise it's just a convoluted story.
Yeah, maybe.
Just kidding. I'm trying to get you in trouble. So, hi guys. Sorry about the hold up. I was in the office doing stuff as I normally do, we have deadlines and deliveries and all kinds of stuff. But here we are. Welcome to Starr Mazer TV. Look, Don, Ryan, Esrin says hello.
I just want to quickly address something from Cyber Akuma before it goes away. That's no accident that cheese pizza sounds so much like cheese pizza.
No, that's on purpose.
It's super on purpose.
That's her way. It's her people. So anyway, this is Ryan Juckett. Follow him on Twitter. He has a game we're going to show off today called INVERSUS. So we'll get to that in a minute. But we're going to just hang out for a little bit.
Yeah,
talk about
great.
Game development.
Yeah,
talk about stuff. So, I don't know. Have we met in person? You met Austin.
I've met Austin a couple times now. Yeah, we have not met.
We have not met. So, do you know anything about me?
Do I know anything about you?
Yeah, I might put you on the spot a little.
I know you work on Starr Mazer.
I do. It's my game. That's about it. Yeah. Cool. Excellent. So, you're a real developer. I develop out of my condo.
Yeah, that's fine.
Where all my teammates. We have 9 people, but
yeah.
We sit on the floor here and make games. You make games for Bungie.
Yeah.
You make awesome real games for real people.
Ryan was saying that Bungie has 500 employees.
Yes.
I don't have $500.
Yeah, I know. I don't have 500 pizzas.
Yeah.
So.
It's very big.
Yeah, so that's really cool. No, I'm just playing.
But you also know the other side of it, because for your own game, you're the sole person working on it.
I go between working as 1 to working as 1 of 500.
Right, here's a question. And this is, I think, a fair question. I'm going to ask the hard-hitting questions. They're not really hard-hitting. Why? Why are you making INVERSUS if you're on the Bungie team?
Sure.
I
love making
around
games.
Every day with a fucking Master Chief hat. And,
well, that would be a Destiny hat.
Oh, a Destiny hat.
Yeah.
Of which there are thousands.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, but no,
so you don't work on the hats portion. You don't work on the clothes portion of Destiny.
I actually did work on the system that streams in all the clothes.
Okay, but you didn't actually work on the clothes.
Not on the clothes. I didn't art them or anything.
You didn't do the Barbie part.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you facilitated the Barbie doll aspect of Destiny.
I did. All the stuff that lets you swap your clothes.
Is it okay if I don't like Destiny? I like Halo.
You can like whatever you want.
A lot. In fact, the film, my last film, Motivational Growth, was actually mixed, for the first part of the film, mixed at the studio, did all the mixing for Halo. That was what sold me on the studio. I was like, oh, well, you guys obviously do good sound. Right. Halo's awesome. Yeah. But Destiny, man.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I work on this game on the side is just, I love making games, and when you get to do something on your own, it's like every little piece of it is your decision, right? Which is really, it's a very different experience, right? You can't make as big or grand of a thing,
right?
But it's much more of like personal output. Yeah,
absolutely.
So, and I don't know, when you like making games as much as I do, you kind of just do it all day, and it's a lot of fun. So
cool.
Yeah.
So, your job as one of 500 people, geez, how much effect do you have directly on the game? You're a lead. You're a project lead, right?
Yeah.
You're a team lead.
So I have
a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's like everybody there does. Everybody has their voice, and everybody's constantly talking about everything. So
awesome.
It's, but definitely as a lead, I get to make sure like the quality bar is there. More what that means than sort of having a voice to the company. Anybody can do that.
Got it.
Yeah.
Cool. By the way, I'm joking about the big company versus little company thing. We wanted Ryan over here just to have fun, so we're gonna have fun. I often do that, but I don't want you to think that I'm actually being that way. I'm not that way. I'm just weird.
You're great.
Cool. I'm great. Ryan says I'm great, and he works on Destiny, so I must be really great. The greatest. So
we actually already have some questions.
Oh, let's tear through the questions.
So somebody had asked, what does a sandbox engineer do?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like a sandbox is sort of, some places might call it gameplay, but it's specifically the simulation, right? Like the systems that let you run, jump, move, shoot, things explode, things die, get in vehicles, drive them around. All those systems are sort of what we call sandbox.
So they're the mechanics of, let's use a real world example of an actual sandbox. You define how the sand operates and how the shovels work.
Yeah.
And so then players can hop in and actually just do whatever they want with it.
Yeah, so we don't do like the the scoring systems for PvP or stuff like that that sort of sits above the actual mechanics. We do all the
you're a mechanical engineer.
The 30 seconds of fun, we like to call it.
Right.
Yeah.
I was just, we haven't known each other for long, so I was about to make a really poorly considered joke about like the guy who did like the guidance system that was used on the atomic bomb. Like he didn't really have anything directly to do with like. That would have been terrible. Yeah. It's a good thing I didn't make that joke.
I'm so glad you
weird.
You kind of brought it up after the fact.
I did. And then you brought up that I brought it up after the fact. We makes it like a million times more uncomfortable. Everything's the worst! Ezrian says they decide how deep the sandbox is and design the systems to keep cats out.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Cool.
That's super fair.
That is true.
Yeah. So it's cool. How did you find out about Starr Mazer? I'm guessing it's from Austin.
So actually, before that, I had heard about Starr Mazer just from the Kickstarter.
Nice.
And all that. Yeah. So
Bungie has heard about Starr Mazer.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have in the industry. I mean,
nice.
It's got that killer art. It's got it's got a cool style. I haven't played it yet.
No. I mean, we have, but no one outside of us has.
All right.
We're working on it. We're not even out of
that.
Pre-production.
Okay.
Like, we're technically out of pre-production next month. So.
It looks gorgeous.
Yeah, well, that's why we're in so much pre-production. It's got to continue to look gorgeous. Yesterday we spent 3 hours discussing how an asteroid looks. Just one of them.
They're pretty important to your game. Right?
Yeah, it's a big deal. Asteroids are a big deal. One of our biggest stories so far that we've pitched is it takes place in an asteroid field. So, yeah, it's interesting. So you found out via the Kickstarter, which is good. These guys also, most of them found out via the Kickstarter. Most of them are backers, which is really cool.
Yeah, and then I met Austin, and he didn't really even mention he worked on it. It was just like he talked about the my brain's blanking. Sports Ball.
Sports Ball is a good game.
Yeah, and talked about that, and then sort of it came up that he did this, and you guys did this show, and he's like, oh, you should come on sometime.
Yeah.
I was like, yes.
I'm gonna move these pillows. I feel like I'm leaning in front of you the whole time. It's really odd.
They are very fluffy.
Yeah. So Ezra asked if there's a Starr Mazer / Destiny crossover confirmed. I can neither confirm nor deny that. I can probably deny it though. Pretty vehemently.
I would pretty solidly deny that.
I don't. It's above our pay grade.
But if you guys want to do some fan fiction,
we do have some pretty cool crossovers. I don't know if you've heard about, like, if you followed Starr Mazer after hearing about it at all.
Here and there, not probably as well as you have.
Yeah. There's a reason for that, Ryan. Cool. So tell us about INVERSUS. What inspired you to make INVERSUS? Tell us about INVERSUS.
Sure.
Tell us where we can find out more about INVERSUS. And then we'll probably play INVERSUS. We'll talk a little bit more.
All right, yeah. So INVERSUS is sort of primarily it started as like a 1v1 competitive game. It's very minimalist. It's sort of like if you had Bomberman and Go and they had a baby. And INVERSUS is kind of what would come out.
Yeah, that's a pretty awesome baby.
Yeah.
Because Bomberman's incredible and like endless possibilities, and Go is incredible, endless possibilities, but I would never have considered. What makes a guy think, oh yeah, Bomberman, oh yeah, Go?
Yeah. Well, that's not where I started, but that is often how people describe it to me. They're like,
I have a serious question now. Yeah. This is not a joke in any way. Don't take it as a joke at all. Okay. How is it you are going to take the two disparate genres of Bomberman and Go and staple them together because there are Go fans and there are Bomberman fans, and both of those are very niche.
Are you going to teach
How are you going to
Flappy Birds?
Are you going to staple these two things together and ever think you can make a successful game? How is this possible?
You will see that when you play it.
Oh yeah, that's the answer we should have been saying the entire time.
I
came up with the whole thing. I had a speech response. I should have been like, hold on.
Yeah.
We'll see. Chill out.
Wait for it.
Wait.
Yeah, and I mean the other big thing that it started with.
Just go. Shh.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to sort of make something where every match kind of evolved into a different game. Where when you play the game, the sort of the geometry of the board is constantly changing based on your actions. So it starts off the same. It's very simple and pure, but then by the end of it, you're in a different play space every time, and it's not like the game is doing that through randomization. It's all results of the individual actions you made that bring you up there, which is really fun because Go kind of has that too, right?
Yeah,
where
there's like infinite permutation.
Yeah.
How many permutations have you mathed out can be done?
I have not done that math.
You haven't done that math?
But it's probably...
A computer hasn't been made yet that can do that math.
We're still working on it.
Yeah, you've got all those, 3,000 PS3s and then they're all chunking away.
We've got someone on it.
How many INVERSUS iterations? It's actually pi number, iteration that, when you can break it, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, we could do the math later in the show if you want.
Sure, we should do that.
Break it down.
Yeah. Alexa, how many permutations are there in INVERSUS?
I wasn't able to understand the question.
See?
I heard.
She can't understand
Yeah,
anything.
computers are not ready for this question.
No.
No.
The thing about our Alexa over there, our wonderful Amazon tool, is that we unboxed it and then asked it like 40 questions,
Yeah.
of which it answered one.
It was very
So,
upset.
it's kind
It
of a
got
running
super
gag.
hot.
Yeah.
It
We
kept
ask
like
it.
beeping.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did it like live on the show, and it was ridiculous.
It really annoys people when I ask it to do a factorial.
Okay.
Like a 66 factorial.
Does it break it down step by step?
It goes, no, it just reads all of the iterative numbers
all
for
right.
the factorial, starting at like something with 900
Yeah.
zeros.
All right.
And then it goes for like 30 minutes.
Awesome.
It's fun.
I like that.
Yeah.
We'll be friends.
Yeah. She hates it.
Okay.
I hate it the
I do it
most.
endlessly.
Yeah.
You're talking about people. I'm the only one you do it around. I only have found a use for her in that getting like measurements divvied up, like how many teaspoons are in a tablespoon is one of my favorites to ask her, and the weather.
All right.
Those are two things she can.
Which we can
usually
actually,
cover.
we
Yeah,
have,
you
we have an
can kind of-
analog system for that.
But that's how you can verify.
right.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
case you're curious.
It's analog
Like
digital.
I like to know degree. You
Yeah.
know, like it
Peer
feels
review.
80 something, but it might be 86, and
Yeah.
I need to know that.
Yes.
So,
It's important.
Alexa, what's the temperature today?
In Seattle, there's an excessive heat warning in effect until 12
I
a.m.
can
Monday,
tell.
June
Yep.
29th.
You're wearing a
Current
hoodie.
weather
I know, I
is
need to go
87
change at some
degrees
point. I
with
didn't expect.
intermittent clouds. Today, you can expect partly sunny weather with a high of 87 and a low of 64.
87.
It's a lot of
Yeah.
7.
It's probably 87 right now.
Yeah, I actually.
feel like we're at the high.
I had a hoodie on earlier, and I was in the studio doing editing stuff
Yeah.
or review stuff, and I haven't taken the hoodie off, and I don't have clothes on underneath that look nice. So I will have to at some point take the hoodie off
Yeah.
and go change my
Yeah.
T-shirt because I'm wearing a hoodie in 87 degrees. It's
That's
the worst.
ridiculous. So I might actually take a quick run
You're
and
gonna bail?
finish up that work.
Excellent.
So I will let you guys
Awesome.
explore Inversus. I hear nothing but amazing things from Kazuo about it, so I'm gonna
All right.
probably have the stream open and be watching as well.
I've not played it yet.
You've not played it? Well, so it might be good to have you play with someone else who hasn't played it yet
Sure.
if we start in versus
Okay.
mode, because I will have a lot more experience.
Right, and
Or we can
Kazuo has
pull-
already played.
Well,
Well,
we
that's-
can
he's
pull
probably
Kaz
new,
as
though.
well.
So he, so he and I can play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you'll
And then
probably
we
do
can
really
get into
well.
single player and try that, which is brand new.
So we are. Do we have an exclusive? Are we going to show the world?
It
single
has,
player?
unless you've been watching a little bit of my dev streams, yes.
Nice. Look at that. Starr Mazer TV has an exclusive. I'm going to close this
Yeah,
window
go
thing,
for it.
if you don't mind. Kaz, can you get on standby for lighting? Because I'm going to close this window thing and put a shade up.
On it.
Okay. We're going to change the lighting profile here in a second, or for a second. Give us 1 minute.
So
I'm
Ed-
sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Ezrein commented on like Inversus has these screen wrapping levels that aren't like you traditionally see in a game. Like you can actually see yourself duplicate times, and it's like this infinite wrap. And it's I think that's like a really fun feature of the game that a lot of times when people first encounter it, it sort of breaks their brain a bit, which is always fun to watch. So it'll be fun to see you have to fight in that circumstance.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah,
There. Sorry, Kaz, you
There we
guys were
go.
commenting the lighting. Oh,
a little more moody.
it's like a million times better. I think we're going to post-process the lighting over there.
Yep. Right up.
Cool. You so amazing says the first mods for Inversus should be color mods.
Yeah, it's a very black and white game. There's a little bit of red in there. And I happen to be colorblind, but I don't think that's why I did that.
Right.
But it does make it easier on me to make
Right on.
something look pleasing.
Did you know that Nicholas Winding Refn, the director of Drive, is colorblind as well? All of his movies, like Valhalla Rising and Drive, and that shitty one in Bangkok that was terrible. They're all very colorful because he's colorblind and he has to amp everything up.
Oh,
to
stamp
like
everything up? Oh,
a
that's
billion.
interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know that.
Yeah. Cool. So Cybercuba says I actually played a game like that where the title screen wrap wasn't at the edge of, where the screen wrap wasn't at the edge of the screen. It had Atari-like graphics though.
Oh, cool.
Meaning to ask, why always the hoodies? I mean, I can't tolerate more than a T-shirt and more than 10 degrees Celsius. Well, first off, I hate that you're using Celsius in my country. Stop it. That's the worst. I'm just kidding. Second, because I make games and movies, and that's all I do, and I don't like. I recognize style in fictional worlds. Like when I
Okay.
create a world, I will write very detailed description as to what people are wearing and how they. But in real life, you have noticed it's not just hoodies; it's the same hoodie. They have different graphics, but I have like 17 of the same hoodie.
I don't even think he's commenting on style. He's just saying heat.
Oh yeah, it was colder this morning, so I put on the thing I wear every day, and then it got hotter, and I was in there, and then the show started earlier. I was later than the show starting, and thus now I'm in a hoodie because I'm on the show now. I could have given you guys a bit of a wait and like gone and changed, which I probably do when we flip over to play Fallout later. But right now I'm just being the hoodie. I'm gonna suffer for you guys. It'll be great.
Yeah.
I see Kazuo in a t-shirt over there, like whipping the t-shirts because it's too high.
Yeah.
So it's the worst. So there you go. Yeah, but yeah, no, I only own one set. I own this like 3 of this pair of shorts, 4 of the same pair of jeans, and like 17 of the same cut hoodie with different cool shit on it. It's the t-shirts. The t-shirts are always changing. That's good. It's because I'm busy. I don't have like style time, unfortunately.
No time to change.
I don't have sleep time or style time. I want to just get up and put on the thing.
There you
go do the work. It's apparently like psychopaths do that, and like Steve Jobs and Stephen Hawking and Bill Gates and a bunch of other like super smart people do that. So
You just gotta make sure you're on the right side.
right.
Yeah.
I gotta make sure I'm not eating people.
Yeah.
Today. No, I'm just joking. That's funny. There you go. So yeah, cool. No more questions. It looks like.
I have a quick question for
Go
you.
for it.
As I was playing your game, I was curious. So yeah, you're trying to combine Bomberman and Go.
He wasn't
Yeah.
trying that.
No,
it seems
I
like
mean,
it came out that way.
That's what it came out to be. Do you have a huge past with those 2 games?
I do not. Yeah, I mean, like the game sort of started as just I wanted to start making something where, like I was saying earlier, the level evolved over time, and in doing that, it was like, well, you know, working out the mechanics that would let you do that. I was like, all right, well, obviously, I want collision to be changing. What is going to be something where you're not making it harder for yourself to move, but always making it easier for yourself to move? And that sort of came like, oh, you're in these 2 different spaces. When you're shooting, you're opening up your space, taking away from the other guy. And it just kind of like evolved over time into that over a long period. It's actually been working on the game for over 2 years now, just like, you know, nights and weekends slowly. So it's had a lot of time for the design to digest, which has been really fun, because the game in itself isn't some, you know, it's much simpler than something like Starr Mazer would be, but it's had all this time to sort of just like slowly tweak, and where it's like, oh, it's another month's gone by of just thinking, let's work on it a little bit more,
Right.
and really a lot of deep thought on it.
Yeah.
And just kind of slowly evolved to where it is. And now when I show it to people, it's kind of, I didn't have like a great pitch, but a lot of people come up and they're like, oh, it's Go on crack, or it's like Bomberman meets Go, or it's, you know,
Nice.
Hyper Othello. And it's like, all right, well, I'm just going to use that because that's what everyone says.
Was it always going to be multiplayer? Or was that the plan? Like, it was always...
Yeah, so actually originally the idea started, some friends of mine had like a local multiplayer game jam at one point, and you know, run through ideas like, oh, we can make this, we can make this, we can make that, and this was like one of the potentials. It's not really made for that game jam,
Sure.
but then I kind of really liked the idea, and I just wanted to see it come to life. So then later that year, I was like, oh, I'm just going to screw around and start doing this, and it's sort of been like a. It started as like, here's this thing that's going to let me push my engine to like, because it's all custom written,
Right.
the whole thing, and I want to have a game to just kind of prove that it's like a shippable engine, and then it kind of got to the point where people were like, yeah, this is really fun.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, well, maybe I should like turn this into a real thing.
Yeah.
And it's kind of just been a very slow evolution. Not really. I didn't start out with like a specific goal.
Sure.
Just kind of like found it.
That's cool. That's neat. Let's play it.
Yeah, let's.
So, Kazuo, is it ready to play? Do we have to take...
Yeah, if you click on that window back there and then
Doing
just
it.
open up inversus.exe.
What do we use to play with? Controller?
Yeah, you'll just need 2 Xbox 360 controllers.
Got those? It's on lockdown. Kazuo and I are going to play first, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Kazuo, I'm done moving the window now.
Okay, let me resize this quickly.
All right, guys, we're going to play Inversus. Can you put that over there?
Of course I can.
You're going to sit between us as we play,
All
which
right.
will be
I'll keep
incredibly
you from fighting each other.
uncomfortable sitting there as we...
So yeah, so versus mode is the 2-player mode. Challenge is the 1-player mode right now.
Okay. So we will exclusively show
Yeah. First
The challenge
world
mode.
exclusive.
World exclusive. This episode of Starr Mazer TV brought to you by Inversus, the choice of the right generation. So what are my options? Oh, those are credits.
Those are credits. Credits
just
are simple.
you.
It is just me.
I love it. That's the best. It's the best credits.
If you want, you can learn how to play while we wait.
I'm going to see what my options are.
Okay. The option screens are the worst looking in the whole thing.
Okay.
So as far as stuff to show off.
I was about
the
to say this
people,
looked like crap.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I was going to say that. Actually,
It's actually one of my things I still have to do is make the options controller friendly.
Sure.
They're very mouse friendly right now.
Nice. All right, are you ready?
I am
Kazuo?
ready.
So we're gonna play Inversus. It's the first time I've ever seen Inversus outside of photos. So here we go.
Okay, so the top left levels are probably a good place to start. Those are the most polished.
Nice.
The more we get to the bottom right, the more we get to like risky experimentation.
Do you actually do an even distribution? So this is level 1, like this is one polished level.
Yeah.
This is 1.1 and this is 1.1, but this is like 1.2. This is 1.2. This is 1.2, and then it kind of.
It's not quite that complicated. It's more just it goes across in rows, but like the stuff at the end is the newer, fresher stuff.
I wanted complicated, Ryan.
But this is a great one to start at. A good one to learn how it works. So since your first time playing, each button is going to shoot in a different direction, and if you hold it, you'll charge up, and then you can.
Yeah.
There you go.
The best.
And then there's just you pick up the red dots, and they'll give you red ammo that shoots faster, and you can see your ammo in your guide.
You changed my thing. I understand it now.
All right, 1-0.
I kind of understand it. I don't understand. I'm joking.
So which color? Who's who?
I am white.
I am black.
All right. So Kazuo is the white guy on the black background.
Correct.
All right.
What is limiting my fire?
So you see how many bullets
I
you have
see
on
it.
you.
Yeah, I get that.
And it's sort of like, remember like Ocarina of Time where like the first carrot was slower to regen and then they get faster?
Yeah,
it's kind of like that.
Nice. I like it. That's
So
very good.
it's incentive to conserve your ammunition. Because you're the... Or is it this is like the first one that you regenerate always takes the longest?
Yeah, the first one always takes the longest. So it's basically commit.
Just commit to the charge.
So if I don't have 3 left, will I still fire?
Yep. Yeah, it's just one. It only takes 1 bullet to fire the single.
Got it.
There you go. And it's first to 3.
Oh. You should say Ready Bomberman on the next one.
Yeah.
That
I wanted to
was
say
joke.
final round in the last one.
Final round.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a simple map,
Okay,
and
I like it.
you guys can pick as you want here.
Alright, let's
gonna
check
go
this out.
first.
So I noticed on some of them, like you had the Pac-Man like maze where you could go.
The rat.
Yeah.
Oh, bullets hit bullets. What are the
Oh, yeah.
dots? What are these dots?
So once those pop in, you'll get a red bullet right there, and that's going to shoot really fast. So you have 2 red ones right now.
Nice. And I don't have
So
to.
those are a lot harder to dodge, as
So
you found out.
the bullets are constantly turning. Do I have to fire with the bullet, the
Nope.
red bullet, in the right place, or is it just the
they're
next one?
turning for fun.
Will it always
The
fire?
red one's always the next one.
It's always the next one.
Yep.
So even if
Kind of reminds me of like what do you call it? Like a revolver.
Yes. That is actually, it was my inspiration there, and a lot of people say it looks like dice.
it is super fast.
And I was like, you know, that does look a lot like a die.
Mhm.
But yeah, it started off as a revolver.
I could see that like a different skin where your ammo is represented by a different die side.
Yeah, I think subconsciously where that came from was a long time ago I worked on this game called Gun, which is this old like Western.
Yeah.
And our loading screen was like a spinning revolver chamber, and I think that's just kind of like, that's where that came from.
I remember Gun. I actually don't like Gun, not because of the gameplay at all, but because I actually have a screenplay called Gun.
Oh, really?
And every time I'm like, I have this awesome screenplay, they're like, oh, you mean like the game?
Like the
I'm
game, yeah.
No, I don't even know anything about the game. Never played the game.
So yeah, this was pretty much the first level design for the game, where it was just like, the concept for this game was just like, okay, here's a square blocks, nothing in it. And then sort of the more interesting ones came up later.
Can this play a total of 4 players? Is that or is it just 2?
I have tried it with everyone has different colors.
Is it just insanity?
It is a bit insanity. I'm not sure if that's gonna ship or not.
Whoa! I see you.
Oh! That was tight.
So yeah, this is kind of where it starts to get interesting.
Oh yeah, you're right. It totally wasn't interesting before.
Yeah.
Just so
Gets
you know,
more
I knew it was
interesting.
crap. Can you shoot yourself ever?
You cannot hurt yourself.
Oh yeah, because of the color.
Yeah, so all that's killing them is really just the tile flipping. Your bullet
Got it.
isn't doing anything.
Yeah. That's an interesting note. It's the tile flipping that's murdering you. The bullet is just the catalyst for the tile flipping.
Yeah, so like some good strategies are like, oftentimes if you're head off with someone, what you can do is if you have more bullets than them, and you sort of got them closed down,
Yeah.
if you just unload as fast as you can, they won't be able to stop as many, right? So
Right.
you can. That's kind of once it starts getting. That's when it starts getting really fast as you start getting good at it.
Hey, Caden303. Thank you for joining us on Starr Mazer TV. We're playing INVERSUS by this gentleman, Ryan Juckett.
Hey, Kaden.
Super awesome game. So it's just the 4 face buttons, right?
Just the 4 face buttons.
There's no like shot augmentation aside from the power up.
No, you can just. There's a couple different power-ups you'll encounter later, which are very new. I'll be very interested in seeing how those play out for you guys. Yeah, and then it's just you can hold the button to charge up. That is, I wanted the controls to be really simple and pure, kind of like how the game looks very pure.
Yeah. So interesting note is you start on an intersection of lines, not perfectly either.
It depends on the level.
Okay. Also,
So,
you
here
don't
you start.
travel on the intersection. You travel completely fluidly. There's no no respect or concern for intersections.
Yeah, no, it's just the walls. Yeah, so this map, you start really trying to figure out what side of the screen is your opponent looking at, because then you can figure out how to sneak up behind them, right? Because you're never really that safe.
So what kind of publishing do you plan on?
So, Yusu says, who created the music? The music is created by a guy, Kevin MacLeod, who does a lot of free music.
He would happen to be of the Clan MacLeod.
I don't think he's from the Clan MacLeod, but I wouldn't claim to be an authority on that.
He could be. He might be. Starr Mazer, so Kaz, when you do your own stream alone, when do you do your own stream alone so I can watch and speak to you via chat alone?
Failthea? It happens on Thursdays. Next Thursday is Alex Maurer stream. Then Thursday after that will be Austin Montville stream. And then after that it'll be Starr Mazer with Maximo Di Lorenzo. So in about 1 month. Whoa. Come on. But if you want to, sorry, go
I
ahead.
was gonna say, like, yeah. So when you shoot the, if somebody else has one of the pickups on their side, you can choose to waste one of your bullets to sort of take it away from them, right? And that's sort of it's a risk-reward type thing, whether that's worth it for you. You also notice when you are charged up and you've got like that, you're ready to shoot that triple shot, you're moving a lot slower.
Yeah.
So that's another thing to be careful about.
Interesting note. When you charge up the charge shot.
Still shoots 3 reds.
3 reds.
Yeah. Yeah, the other interesting thing is because you notice that it shoots 3, right? So you can actually shoot around a corner with a charge shot too, while still being behind cover, which is
like he just did. He just demonstrated.
There you go.
Rex75 asks, is this game online or local only?
So it is local only right now. There is a single player mode, which I'm sure we'll show in a little while. Whether or not I mean, yeah, I'm still in debate of whether I do networking and how much that will be worth it. It's a very fast-paced game once you start really getting into it. So
networking could potentially be very hard.
It would be hard. It has that fighting game problem, right?
Yeah.
Where once you start getting into like frame, like defense stuff, it's tough, and it might be something where I ship it local only, and then, you know, assuming it does all right, I'll then spend the time to add networking to it. Because networking is to do networking right is very, very hard. Which is why you'll find a lot of games with networking very choppy.
Yeah. So I noticed something interesting is in this level particularly, you created a scenario in which Kazuo is forced to, or not forced to, has chosen to dominate my red squares, the red potential, to keep my ability to gain reds down, which is pretty legit.
Yeah, there's
see, like the first thing you did was
tries to take them out. Yeah, and it is you're trying to hold it once they spawn, right?
Yeah.
So that's how Kazuo's a bright guy. Yeah, there's a level called Alley in here where it's actually like 4 reds together in this one spot. So it's that is the fight to like this one piece, and they're all in the middle.
So who's been playing this game?
Who's been playing this game? I periodically have. It's an interesting thing because, like, as a one-person team, making a two-person game is non-trivial.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of trying to. I'm gonna set up like a local game night at my apartment where we play like a bunch of local multiplayer games, right? Like all the hits from Samurai Gun to Nidhogg to whatever. And this is gonna get slipped in the middle, and then we're gonna like play test this as part of it. So that's usually how I exploit people into playing and testing it for me.
You play games that people love.
Yes.
To see if people can love your game.
Yes.
Have you ever? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go for it.
Have you ever thought about considering doing the aiming mechanic using the right analog stick as opposed to the
it
face
started
buttons?
like that, and I might make it an option. It's actually, it doesn't, like once you actually experience both, it doesn't feel as good because you can only shoot in the cardinal directions, and it feels a lot more affordant to just use the 4 buttons. Really, once you get into it, it feels a little sloppy with the like directional stick plus like right bumper or something, depending on what you're gonna do for the actual fire. Because it's not like a dual stick shooter, right, where you're always firing.
Yeah, you're only taking.
And like if you're just like tapping the
calculated
directional
shots.
stick, it just doesn't feel like it has that oomph to it. But a lot of people do ask for it, and every time in the past when I had it a bunch of different ways, people would eventually go, yeah, no, this does feel better. It's weird, like feels different. I think like Binding of Isaac might do it this way. Or might have support for this way, but I might want to just make it so people can experience that for themselves and then choose on their own. But yes, I have tried a bunch of different control schemes.
So I noticed Kazuo has a tactic where he puts me in a lane, or I'm sorry, when I run out of ammo, he will force me into a lane.
Sure.
And then shoot at me.
Yeah, I mean that's what you want, right? Is like you want it to get a little bit of that chess in there, right? Where you're locking them in and then taking them out. And that's what a lot of the tuning has been, is to try to get it, make sure that's in there, where it's not just like go in, spam button, someone wins, right? Yeah, it's funny too, because like some of the levels, like that last one, where it was like this staircase that wrapped infinitely. There's been a lot of interesting design problems of like how to make it wrap perfectly and still be this pretty shape, right? That you can sort of like comprehend as a human. And that's been fun to explore and be like, oh, maybe there's something here, and just keep changing and changing until it finally lines up right. Because it was not as easy as I expected it to be.
I like how the controller rumbles when you charge up your shot.
You charge up?
Lets you know.
Are you doing something?
Yeah.
It's about to go down.
I'm also surprised that the charge shot doesn't take extra ammo.
Yeah, I mean that's part of just the risk reward of it, right? Where I think it's a balance thing, right? Like, because even now, I assume you're feeling it, where you don't always want to be charging because you are moving slower.
Now that was really interesting because I saw his thing stop spinning, so I knew that he was holding onto it, and I assumed that being over there, he was going to aim to the left.
You can actually see if you look at when it's charged and it stops, one of the bubbles will be popped up in the direction he's going to shoot.
Oh, okay.
So you can actually start using that to flank people. You're like, oh, he's charged up there. He's not going to want to waste the charge because he just spent so much time charging it. And then you can sort of like wrap around them and take them out.
Especially when you have the red one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I like the idea of always making as much state as possible readable on the screen. So you can sort of like look at the picture, and if you're really good at parsing what's happening, you get a lot of information, right? Like, how far is he into a charge? What direction is he going to charge? Severakuma said to stop screen watching. I don't know if that's actually a problem in this game.
It actually is the game.
Yeah.
Oh.
There you go, it's close.
Oh!
Your volley is wasted.
I love it when it gets into this sort of cat and mouse thing where it's very tense as a player. You're sort of constantly thinking you might be able to win.
You try to predict movement a lot, I noticed.
Yeah.
Sometimes it pays off and it's really satisfying, but most of the time it just looks like a random expired.
I really enjoy how it restricts your movement, because when you're getting shot at, like your options just become so limited in terms of movement.
Yeah, it's fun when you're trapped. You got to figure out, do I want to fight back from this trapped position or try to find a way to escape? Because they're both going to cost me ammo, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's a fun mental problem to have.
The thing I don't like about this, and I totally get why. I can see it. It's completely readable to me. But for whatever reason, my brain was like, I can wrap through. I was over in that corner. I'm like, I can wrap through the side.
Sure.
But I know I couldn't. I mean, I get it. I get why I can't. There's obviously a gray border telling me that I can't. But just in the heat of it, your brain is like, do the thing.
Yeah. There you go.
Bitch!
Starr Mazer, will INVERSUS be demoed at EVO?
You know what? I missed the EVO deadline. I did not know when it was until too late, and I wish it was at EVO because I think it would be a perfect fit at EVO.
There's a certain duck-related game that might be showing at EVO.
A duck game is there. They showed the list that's there recently. You know, they're there. There's another Seattle dev. Tumblestone's there.
Tumblestone's cool. We support Tumblestone.
This is crazy.
It's not crazy.
It's
Brain
math.
on it. Yeah.
There you go.
What you get, bruh? Bruh.
Yeah, it was after making this map is when I learned about that you had this strategy where you could try to shoot around a wall by charging.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
Oh no!
You had to do it at the right point, but like it was like in testing this, someone did it, and then it was like, oh, that's brilliant. Hope says, what do I expect this game to cost? That is a great question, which I'm working through figuring out. I definitely want to, I want to make sure there's a good value there for people, and I haven't decided yet.
You want to bring this game to consoles, right?
I do, yes. Yeah, porting to consoles is pretty much the next big development step for me right now.
That was a fun map. That's
Yeah.
a really fun map.
Awesome.
I like that. I'm actually much better at I feel like I'm much better at the more complicated maps. The open ones.
Sure.
There's just so much.
Yeah, so much
It's
to
like,
take
yeah,
in.
you can't work it.
Yeah, I'll point you to a fun one.
Oh, none of them have been fun so
No,
far. So
I'll point you to
nice.
like, this is an extra fun one. Go find one called Tight in here. This might hurt you a bit.
Whoa. Whoa. All right. Okay.
It's like a little mix of pace from the other ones where it's... You're pretty much like never safe.
It's crazy just seeing so many copies of yourself.
Yeah, it really... It's hard to try to figure out which one to look at, right?
Yeah.
And this is a very fast map, so I think it's kind of a fun break. I wanted to have like every map have a bit of a different feel of like how long a match takes, how stressful it is, right? How much your brain is fighting.
Yeah. Trap me. I fired too fast. I know bullets left. I've had 2 wins. So I noticed if you're on the far end of the map, you can actually dodge a bullet and watch the tiles flip to get you.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
is really cool. Like it happened once. I'm like, oh, he missed me somehow.
Yeah.
And then the thing flipped under me. I was like, oh. Allie is the rush for the middle, right?
Yeah, this one's got that middle line's gonna have 4 pickups in it.
Oh, fucker. He just counted.
Yeah. It's like that action movie scene where you have to dominate in the chamber,
Yeah.
right?
Have you considered having levels where the screen wraps at different points? For example, the left of the one screen looks
Sure, yeah,
as
he's
if
kind
it's
of
the top of
asking.
the other screen.
Yes, like I have definitely, and I plan on exploring. I have some interesting ideas I'm not going to go over just yet about how to make things a bit more non-Euclidean, I guess might be the right word, in how they're laid out. But like the idea of yeah, like really weird ways to like screw with your brain, I think is a blast, and I love that stuff. So keep an eye out. See him nervous there. I don't know if you guys can hear him subtly swearing.
I swear a little. Ah.
Now, when you blow up one of the power-ups, does that stop your bullet? It does stop your bullet.
So it's hard to take it back once the other guy's got it.
Fucker. Any more power-ups like bi-directional shot or even four-directional?
So there's 2 more power-ups in the game that start coming in. I don't know if this level might have them. They're very new.
Experimental. Oh.
Boop.
Ready. Go.
I can't help but think he's just a genius pun when you say ready, go.
Yeah.
Ready. Go.
I don't know why I stay there.
Yeah.
I like that there's a feeling, I wish there's a word for it. There probably is. Some German psychologist has probably come up with a word for it, but there's a feeling. One of my favorite feelings in games is, oh, this one on power?
Yeah, it's a little hard to see on your TV, the reds, but you have a shield right now.
Oh, so you can take an extra hit.
Yeah.
Yep, dude.
So that's represented by this little
The
guy.
box.
Yeah.
My bullets. Just hang out here for a second. Reload.
Oh. That was close.
Oh, you got
Oh,
my
you're still
shield
alive.
though. So you must have hit me once.
Yeah, he hit you once.
You need to start taking back some of these squares so I can start getting power-ups.
So yeah, the balance on the shield I'm still playing with. Like right now it lasts until it just goes away. Like
I'm feeling pretty OP right now.
the and like does it just a period of time? You have to recollect them. How that works is sort of a still work in progress. Oh,
Alright, there you go.
Player 2 wins.
And also, it's like a big question of like what levels do these power-ups work best in, right?
Mhm.
You'll see there's one with another power-up called Cross, which I think fits well
Ready.
for just like the way the power-up works, which you'll find out, and how this level is designed.
Clovis15 says he's gonna pick this game up. Alright, so now I'm red.
So yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, dude. I like that power up.
So yeah, because in this level it's hard to navigate up those diagonals because you can only shoot, up or left, right? So it takes a few shots to get up them, but when you have that power up, you can careen right through.
Ready. Go.
Osborne's asking if 2 levels of the side mimic any levels where your 2 characters are mirrored instead. Oh, what, you mean like the wrapping? If it mirrored around? I do not have anything like that.
Just waited for you, dude.
I was gonna bulldoze my way in and just unload.
Yeah, so you're still susceptible of getting shot, but you move faster, you can bash through all the bricks. It's very intimidating when they're coming at you.
Oh, can you kill somebody by running into them?
Yeah, because you're just flipping the blocks, right?
Oh, okay.
So, now, if you both have it, you won't be able to break each other's block. So you'll just sit there looking at each other, waiting for one of you to time out, and hope it's not you.
Nice.
Like that, right? So, but you got bullets, so you can keep shooting, right?
Player 2 wins.
That's an interesting power-up.
So another interesting one, if you want, there's one called, go left a bit. One more, we'll see it. One more, no, it might be on the next row. It's called Offset, I believe. There you go.
Ready. Go.
So this map I really like, because remember there was the second map you played, and I was like, oh, this is the first map I ever designed for the game, right? And it was just a simple square. This is that map shifted.
Yeah.
Ready.
It's
good.
And it is way harder to play. Because it does not feel like you're in this wide open space.
So technically,
you
you completely
are.
are. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just our viewport, our view window has shifted.
Yeah.
Has been offset, as it were.
Ready. Go.
I'm out of bullets.
The best is that you just say that a lot. Ugh, too much fight.
Man, every time I see this game, I always think of like crosswords.
Sure, yeah.
Sudoku just flashes in my brain.
Go.
Do you think it's a design thing as much as it's not a gameplay thing, is it? Do you think it's just because it's on a grid and it's black and white?
I think so, yeah.
It's funny how, like, it does, because it's so simple, a lot of people can really sort of relate it to lots of different things, and you always get that from people. Oh yeah, I'm in.
I'm gonna go change out of this ridiculous hoodie contraption. You're gonna beat
Alright,
the hell out of
I will fight against the creator of Inversus.
Do it. You seem pretty good, so you'll do fine.
Alright, let's try this out. I played against the creator of Duck Game and I was able to barely squeak by.
Where do we want to go? Let's, this will be an interesting one.
Go.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
Yeah, that was good.
Oh, okay. I was looking at where I was going to head. Don't know if you answered. That's both some awesome... That is an awesome and evil idea. I don't know.
Von Osborne. Oh, I think they're
Oh, gotcha.
talking about the mirroring, which I was saying, yeah, like, there's nothing that mirrors.
Go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Man, when you're
Gotta
right
be
next to them,
quick.
you just gotta unload on
Yeah,
them.
you gotta go. Ready?
Go.
Alright, let's do this. Ah!
Not playing easy.
One.
That was good.
We're going
That was
in.
good, man.
We'll train you up. It's a good one.
Trial by fire, man. It's the best way.
Yeah. This is, yeah, all these ones at the bottom are very new, so it's super interesting to me to see people play them. Like a lot of these, only one person has played, other than me.
Huh. Very cool. Well, I'm honored to help you beta test some of these. One thing I'm noticing about the bullets is when you shoot a triple shot,
Yep.
it fires it in front of you, so you can't blow up the block right next to you.
You
So you
cannot.
can't use that to like
To open
work
up
your
the
way
side.
around.
Yeah. And that was just kind of how it started. I haven't actually explored it the other way, really. It could be better. It's sort of a bit of a claustrophobic map. Little bullets. That's gonna get you to run out.
Oh,
Ah. Oh. There we go. There we go.
nice. Now, one regular bullet can take out a red bullet, though, right?
Yeah, they can all block each other right now. So you can always block. The red bullet pretty much just gets you. It's harder for them to dodge, right? Harder for them to block because they don't have much time. So there I can see you were charging down. So it was safe. Inch my way down. It's interesting. The other nice thing about the triple shot is not only is it hard to dodge, it gives you a lot more board control, right?
Yeah.
So like which is a huge deal because then you can run around and escape, right? If someone's coming at you.
Go.
And it's almost like at the start of the game, like shooting a triple is really good because you're just immediately like carving off this portion that the other person's gonna have to spend ammo to get through. Right?
Exactly. Okay, so you're spending resources to gain a footing.
So you notice this is the only map in the game that lets bullets wrap around and around and around.
Oh, so if you can
So
control
you can
that.
start to like control and like sort of box the other person in a bit. And this is very similar to the first map you played, but it just doesn't have the box in the middle preventing that from happening. So it's a bit more advanced.
Interesting.
Ready. Go.
Yeah, and I'm trying to find stuff like this to really have... I want that idea of like each level has something a little unique to it. It doesn't feel like every permutation possible is there. It's sort of like, oh, this is the level with this thing, and you're not going to find it somewhere else. It's sort of got a bit of a personality, right?
Now, how long will the bullets stick around if they're looping?
Right now they go, I think it's based on distance. It's probably like 4 screens worth or something. And yeah, that's something to play with, right? See what feels right there. You'll see eventually they will just fade out, or they'll get intersected with. And yeah, so here you have a lot of control on the board right here, right? Where you have the bullet.
Does your bullet pass through you?
Your bullet will pass through you. Yeah, so he's pretty much got me blocked in, unless I'm willing to sort of time it, right?
Or shoot around that.
Yeah.
The bullet corner. Nice.
There you go. Yeah, so and I've tried, opening up all sides, and it's just complete chaos.
Is this
That would be insanity.
is this level called Ikaruga?
This level, I don't know what this level's called, but it's not called Ikaruga. I don't know if I'd be allowed to do that.
I was totally joking.
I do love Ikaruga, though.
Oh yeah. This reminds me of I don't know if you ever played the old Super Nintendo game Zoop.
Oh, Zoop is great. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, with the little weird little shapes
Yeah,
and
you
the
just,
black,
like,
and you slide them up, down, left, right.
Corners, yeah.
I
That's
used
what
to love that game.
that's what these guys kind of remind me of. Like you're shooting your little Zoop around.
I don't know if many people have played Zoop.
It was one of those games that was like, I don't know, they kind of advertised as like the puzzle game I tried to get it, I was being greedy, for the Super Nintendo, but I don't know.
Right,
Every
do you
time.
want anything?
I'm great, thanks.
I'm gonna have a ginger beer.
Yeah, I mean, if you want, we can play another one and try, if you want to try single player.
Sure, I've actually already tried the single player. Maybe Don can try
Sure,
it if
yeah.
he wants. It's pretty cool going against those little floating red guys. That's actually where it really reminds me of Bomberman.
Sure, yeah.
When you guys finish this level, I will play the single player. See what happens.
I was trying to conserve my ammo.
So I noticed that this is designed really well for a controller. I play a ton of indie games, and it's there seems to be two sort of outlooks. The first is like, I'm gonna make my game, and then I'll make my game for the control scheme. And then there's I built it with controllers in mind specifically. How did you approach controller on this, considering that you may primarily be console?
Yeah, I mean, I am a big fan of controllers and how it can feel and getting it right, like really antagonizing for that. So it kind of started with controllers always in mind. You can play with the keyboard, but without that analog motion, you're at a bit of a disadvantage.
Even though the speed is a little bit faster, right? Like, isn't that the idea, like having your finger on all keys?
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I am not anywhere near as good with the keyboard, and it doesn't.
Triple dot.
So triple dot is three reds.
Just 3 reds.
Yeah.
The badass thing.
Yeah,
I
which
didn't mean
is,
to interrupt you. I just happened to see it.
that is okay. Crap. I got out of that. So yeah, I like controllers. I don't know. I like how they feel, and it has that like. It just reminds me more of like a couch co-op type old thing, right?
Sure,
Where
yeah.
it's, in this case, couch competitive. But so I just kind of started with that.
Juyorikin says, did you experiment with making the player models as circles instead of, and this is where it comes in, instead of dice faces?
Right.
You said earlier that it wasn't dice face. It's not. It's a revolver in a square, like a revolver chamber in a square.
I have not actually tried it, but like the original concept was this. I like the shape because everything's very boxy in the game, and the reason they have the curved edges is to make it a bit easier for you to get around corners. It feels a bit better when you
So
like
the collision
slide.
actually follows the
Yep.
sprite then,
Yep.
completely.
Yes.
The pixel
Everything's
perfect
very accurate.
collision.
Yeah. So yeah, and it's there's a lot of the game. There's not many curves in it. I tried to keep everything have that look.
Yeah, I could see the blocks making it a little bit difficult to navigate around corners. I could see people sticking to them.
And I do a lot of stuff to try to make that easy, but your brain accepts it a lot more when it's a bit rounded. I think it just feels. You feel like you should be able to slide around, right?
So these, unlike the in the traditional game, them touching me is they're actually changing that.
Yeah, they're changing the block. So that's kind of like when you had that power up where you were bashing through things. You see up at the top, you have 1 life left. And you'll build up a multiplier over time. You can get bonuses for chaining multiple guys together when you kill.
Oh, I looked at it too late.
So 60 points.
I can do
That's
better
where
than
we're
that.
at.
I can do better than
I
that.
see it's in you.
I can do much better than 60 points. So I was just learning the system.
The other thing is you'll notice these guys drop those triple red pickups, so you can sort of get a lot of ammo in this mode, and you don't have to be as conservative as long as you're like kind of going up and confirming that kill.
Kill confirm.
Kill confirm.
Yeah.
So ingrained. Nice. Oh.
Yeah, when you kill a guy, it breaks like a bunch of blocks around him, you see? So you can actually use that. So you see there, it changed two guys together.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
So I like that getting these replenishes not only my red ones, but also just the number of ammo I'm holding.
Yep.
It's replenished, which is great. So you can get on sort of streaks.
I have a question. Okay, let's say, because you can be, have any portion of your body in another square, right? I mean, it's not like you push over and boop, you're in the next square. How much percentage of your body has to be in that square that turns the other color for you to die? Because I saw a couple of them get pushed out.
Yeah, so for the enemies in this, it is a bit more than it is for you. It's easier for you to get pushed out than it is for them. I forget the numbers off the top of my head. I think it might be like 10% of you and 30% of them or something.
Okay.
So in versus mode, it is just the same for both players. It's,
Yeah.
10%, which is nice because it makes it, you get a lot more of those escape scenarios. Right? Like, oh, close call, right? And I just got away and it feels really fun.
Isn't every mode inversus mode?
Yeah. Well, I was saying
I know. Just being a jerk.
Yeah.
Those. Yeah, chains. Sub-chains.
So the difficulty in this comes from creating more enemies and faster enemies.
Yeah, and there's different types that'll come in later. And like, this is very new, so there's still more I want to add. Like, there's no shielded enemies yet. You will eventually get to guys that start shooting, and guys that start charging, and like stuff like that. So
Interesting.
And so in this small level, so there's only 2 levels right now, just a small one and a big one that are open.
They're called small and large.
Yeah.
respectively.
Very inventive. The small one's a bit more claustrophobic, but it's easier to sometimes get out of stuff if you're shooting really fast because the guys are so clumped together that you'll generally chain a bunch of them together. So yeah, you can be a lot more free with your shots in here, right? Because you're getting a lot of ammo back.
Are they bigger? Are there?
No, they're the same
They
as you.
feel bigger. That's really weird.
They're intimidating.
Well, what's also weird is they're moving much slower, so it's more likely that they will hit a square.
You want to spam off, and there you go. Shoot, shoot, shoot.
I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do
Get all them chained together.
Yeah.
Big points. Yeah, so every...
You made fun of my sister.
So yeah, it's like the first guy you hit's worth normal points, the second guy that chains is 2x, and that's 3x and 4x. So the more you chain, it starts to really give you a bunch back in return. Here we go. So now come the guys who can shoot.
Oh, they can't.
Oh, okay.
Kill them first.
So they can't just bulldoze their way through though. They will actually just
Yeah,
shoot.
they wait until their first bullet charges and then they go.
Oh, so they charge.
Well, they're just waiting until their ammo reloads and then they
Got
shoot
it.
it.
So 3285 is a little bit different.
There you go.
And 60.
Now the competition starts.
Oh man, okay. So were you on small?
Yeah.
Or okay.
Ready.
Let's do this.
Go.
High score battle like the old days. You weren't even born.
Yeah, and I would love to see that like on a console where it shows your friends.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
I think that's fun.
Have you considered making like a small like barcade cabinet?
I have no idea how to do that, so no. But that would be rad.
Rex705, why can't you play the multi?
Maybe it just doesn't play a game with too many people. Or I don't know.
Are you gonna be putting in like any type of story mode in this game?
There is no story at the moment. You can press on any story you want, what this means symbolically, but for me, it's the mechanics and readability.
Rex, it is local only, but do you live in a hut in Alaska? If so, we'll be there next week.
Yeah. This charge shot is awesome.
Yeah, it's so good. For
with the
that.
red.
So it is, yeah, and you'll start finding later, once it starts getting more hectic and guys are coming quicker, you can't rely on it as much, but I like that it's a nice sort of, you're new to it, you've got this way to sort of start taking this advantage early on, right, as a player, but then game starts to come back at you and you have to learn to adapt.
So something really interesting to me is that because the player moves so quickly and these guys move so slowly, your brain does not equate the tile flipping with what's killing you. And the tile flips the minute they touch it.
Yep.
When they touch it, it flips. So my brain kept waiting for them to touch me. And I was moving at such speed that my brain was kind of tracking the frames to hit the actual other block, and I kept dying. I play shmups a lot.
Sure.
So I'm constantly tracking that one little pixel, coming close to that one little pixel. And
it's a little different.
It's the inverse. It's actually, you get hit before your brain thinks you're going to get hit. So you have to change your. I ended up changing my internal sort of hitbox to.
You gotta kind of stay safe. I really do like the twist of like. I haven't played a. I guess it's not quite a dual stick shooter in this case, but something like that where it is the gameplay space is changing, right?
And that's cool because there is no reliable board that you're playing, which is really great. These guys actually suck because at least the other guys.
Well, the interesting thing here, right, is as long as you're staying at a diagonal from them, they cannot hurt you.
Oh man, 26-10. Now that's interesting. I thought it was going to reset back to the red guys, but it just started off with the shooting guys.
Yeah, it kills the guys that are there and then lets you continue where you are in progression for your lives.
Interesting, and it's just based off of how many enemies you kill, not your score.
It's a mix of time and enemies killed, so if you're not doing one, the game will still kind of try to keep up with you to prevent you from wanting to sit there and like clear the board while one dude's on screen or something.
How far can you go? Like, how many levels are there? Do you win?
In this, you do not win. I can show you how far you go if you want.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Is it gonna glitch out like
No,
Pac-Man?
I don't think so.
There's no kill screen?
We'll
Is
do
the
it on
computer gonna explode?
We'll do the small map again.
Will aliens come down
Alright.
and tell me the future of the world?
You want to try? We'll try the big one. The big one's a little harder.
Yeah, well, you're
Okay.
here. Go all the way.
Yeah, man.
Pressure's on.
So, in a self-righteous sort of protecting my own ego way, I have to point out everyone that he's not good at the game. He's not like special. He just made it. He
There
played
you go.
thousands of hours of it. So my respectable 3,800 score is probably the best an average person can do, and the only reason Ryan is going to do any better at all is not because he's great and he's smart and he's cool and he's got a well-paying job at Bungie and he's making Destiny and everything's great. Nothing to do with that. He's just a normal guy. It's that he made the game. That's the only reason.
Yeah, so you notice what here I'm trying to do is like control the space a bunch and try to keep as much of it white as possible because that's going to make it a lot easier for me to keep these guys under control.
There was the ultimate dismissal of my silly joke.
No.
That was brilliant. No, it's like super solid. It's the best
didn't mean
response
to do
ever.
that.
You're like, notice, he just said some dumb shit. I'm going to tell you about how cool this game is, which is really cool.
Actually, the best player right now, if you were to look around, like you're having a competition on this, is, you guys must know Ty.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, Ty is really good at this game.
Really? I can imagine. Ty's a smart dude.
I've got a question for you. So, I hear you throwing out a lot of these terms like board control, and I think of all these like games like Hearthstone and other trading card games and fighting games. What other genres of games or games do you play?
I play pretty much anything that's not a sports game. By that I mean like a simulation of real world sports. Not that like I would play one of those. Someone's like, let's play whatever, it's NBA Live or something. But I pretty much that's like the only type of game where if you really look at my shelf or my Steam library, it's not there. Other than that, I can get into most everything. I haven't quite figured out like the League of Legends Dota thing yet. Got over that hump of learning it. So like Dota, my brain is trying to keep up with these. But yeah, like otherwise, I play almost anything. On the top of my list is I play a lot of local multiplayer games. I love the Souls series, all the Dark Souls type stuff. Anything that's got a bit of a challenge and a very clean design. So,
what is your favorite game of all time?
Favorite game of all time is probably Spelunky.
I actually, okay, so I think I found that I've determined that it's one of those binary things. People love Spelunky or they hate Spelunky.
I feel Spelunky is it's kind of got a little bit of that thing where people love like Dota, right? I don't love Dota yet, but I feel like probably if I put the time in and really learned it, I would love it. I would assume that's going to happen. It's got a really hard barrier for entry. Because Spelunky, I tried to play Spelunky like 3 times and never really loved it. Like, at different periods. It was like, oh, it came out on this system, came out on this system. Yeah, I don't know, whatever. And then at one point, it finally clicked, and I think it was like I saw someone play who was good, and just learned like how these systems work, how deep this game is, and I was like, I want to do that. And after that, I just got hooked to like Yama, and like, I adore that game.
Maybe I should give it another shot. I tried playing it a couple times, you know, with the second player cooperatively.
That is
and
not...
it's just so hard.
That is like a way, after you get good at the game, that is a fun way to play, because then it's like, can we manage this together with us both being good? It's still really hard. But I would say you play by yourself. And
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it'd be easier playing with 2 people.
Oh my god, no. It is way harder. Yeah, I love Spelunky. After that, I love Echo and Zelda games.
Solid.
So the other nice thing here is you'll see, like, if I leave the ammo on the board for as long as I can, because it blocks bullets, it sort of acts as cover.
Okay.
And I just died there. We didn't quite get up to the guys that charge shots, but yeah, that is...
Cool. Inversus.
That is Inversus.
Do these guys have names?
Do these guys have names? They do not have names. There is Red Guy, and yeah, like one interesting thing is you want to make it so you can look at a guy and say like, oh, what is this guy? What's his behavior, right? Because there's a few different versions. There's like a slower one, like just the red one. Right? There's a faster one. There's one that sort of spirals around. You can see one of those down below.
Yeah.
He'll just start like curving around me, which is it's an interesting behavior because it starts taking space like that. But they don't look different, and I would love them to look different. I'm trying to figure that out right now because what I don't want is it to just come off looking like, you can do like, oh, let's just do more little shapes, which aesthetically I think starts being weird, but also starts getting a little too Geometry Wars, which Geometry Wars is a fantastic game, but I would like this to maintain its identity, right? So that's an interesting problem right now as far as this mode goes, of like, how much do I need to do that? Do I put like maybe a little symbol in the center of the guy? And then nobody's been named like Blinky or Pac-Man yet, although it does have a bit of that Pac-Man influence where different guys, different simple behavior, and once you start mixing them together, it starts getting really hard. And like at the end of this, the final, as far as like the progression system goes, where it tops out is it's got every type of guy in there, and then it gets like increasingly more and more faster, with the hope being it just kind of gets to a point where it's impossible to beat, for me, and then someone who's really good can start really pushing it down, right? Because I want that, like, oh my god, you got how many points? You did what? You did this? And like getting to see parts of the game that no one has seen. And I'd love to have something like Spelunky has some of that too, right? Where it's like most people who've played Spelunky have never seen outside that jungle, right? And then like people who've seen outside that, it just goes deeper and deeper and deeper. And I'm not saying this is going to be like Spelunky in that regards, but that idea of it keeps changing for a good while. I think your controller ran out of batteries.
Is it? No, it's back.
It's back. Battery medium. Click for help. There we go. But that shows that the game detects that properly, which is good.
Nice.
Yeah, testing out all the features.
The other nice thing here is like I wanted to get these sections where like, okay, this isn't quite a boss battle, but it just has like this point where it just sends a ton of dudes at you, which is fun because it sort of breaks up the pacing. You can remember that point when you play it again. But it also gives you this chance for a lot of chains. It gives you a bunch of points, which is fun. And then after that, it starts introducing the new enemy type. So I want to have that side of enemy introduction be sort of feel a bit more bespoke than just like, oh, it's just randomly throwing in more and more stuff, right?
Have you thought about creating a boss enemy?
I have been asked about it. I don't currently, like, I don't know if it's bosses to make it worthwhile where it's like, oh, that was cool as a boss. That's a bunch of work, right? And I have a very high quality bar.
So
And it's like, is that needed in this game? I'm still exploring that. It might be that happens. I don't know.
the behaviors of your guys are, like, as you said, they're simple systems that are just stacked, right, to cause
Yep.
complication. So your AIs are I'm sorry, I'm watching. I'm trying to actually answer my question on like the little white guys who fire. They fire when they're ready to fire.
Yep.
That's it. Just fire when they're ready to fire. And they seek you?
So I think these ones fire in the direction they were moving.
Okay.
And then the charged ones fire towards you
Toward you.
regardless of it.
How about what governs their movement?
They just move. I think these ones just move towards you. There are some later that try to intercept you.
So they try to predict your path?
Yeah, they just kind of look at your. They look at your sort of what your velocity is.
Yeah.
And try to predict ahead of it.
So wouldn't a boss be neat? That I'm trying to come up with novel, interesting ideas
Sure.
for bosses. So there's only one, and it's at the very, very end, or very, very far into the game, or at some major point. And you've spent the entire game. The game's done now. It's great. Everyone loves it. And you want to spend time building the thing more, and you've got nothing else to build. So you just start tracking because you've got. I don't know. Is it actually a grid system, or is it only visually a grid system? Do you count the blocks?
I mean, yeah, under the hood, it has both like you could say like real position, and then it has cell position, and everything.
So you're tracking cells. You understand how you traverse cells. You see you're leaving a trail behind. It might be neat to create a heuristic based on your movement over the course of the entire game, in association with all of your other bad guys and how you move, and you fight a version of you.
Sure,
like
yeah.
a learned version of you.
Yep. I have considered doing something where it learned from play recordings. Because originally it was like, do I want to just do you fight an AI, and then to make that satisfying is like, oh, you're playing this game, you're gonna play single player, or maybe your friends aren't around. Would playing the normal versus mode against an AI be good? And it's making it feel human is tough, right?
Yeah.
So I considered that. That's a hard problem to tune and adapt, but yeah, that could be interesting. Is like if it was in this circumstance, it wouldn't be held to as much rigor. As like,
Exactly right.
Yeah.
In fact, especially if it's known that it's tracking you, you can fail gracefully. And
yeah,
there's no control mechanism. So that's fine. That's perfect. I would have done that. So an interesting value change I noticed was those predator targeters, the little 3 dots. They're really valuable in the versus mode. Like your brain gets really obsessed with like, oh, I
Yeah.
grab that.
yeah, this is a bit different pace.
It is. The pacing's total. And when I first started, I tried to collect them all. I gotta get all of those. And I realized it was putting me in I was overtly risking where I shouldn't have.
And you were already full on ammo.
Right, I was full on ammo, and then I was basically just wasting them. Either at the time I didn't know that they could block bullets, but I did know that they I could still get them if I'd run out.
Sure.
So I was wasting potential shots by collecting them early, but I valued them more highly than they should have been valued. I know. And in this version, they're not necessarily as valuable.
Yeah, and it's interesting, like how much do you want it to? It's kind of nice because it feels different. There's a bit more variety. But it's not the exact right training to get really good one. Like it's training you a lot in aiming, shooting, reaction time, but not necessarily on that strategy level that comes out. Yeah, and whether that's good or bad, I don't know. Like I do know I tried it more slow paced like that, and once I've ramped it up, in this case where lots of guys come at you, like a lot more smiles come to my face.
Yeah.
And this has been really fun too, just because I now finally have a way to test mechanics without another person.
Yeah.
And then as the downside of, I now find myself a lot I'll be trying to fix a bug, and then I'll just realize I'm just playing for a while, and
It's like the best downside to have.
Yeah. And that's a good sign. I mean, I think it is getting to a point where this is now saying this challenge mode is entertaining. And I think you can have a good time with it. So that definitely makes me happy. Yeah, if any people are interested in seeing the simple behaviors or stuff, I do stream. I've started streaming some of the development of this on Twitch at Hypersect, the company name. So you can follow me there.
Which, interesting, I was talking to you before we came in that this company was just formed, right?
Yes, it's brand new. of me trying to figure out how to do a business, which I have no experience. A lot of experience making games, not many selling or like the business side. So that's been a interesting challenge of just like wrapping my head around all the things you need to do, forms you need to sign, dots you need to, whatever.
Yeah, because when I was trying to look up this game, all I could find was RyanJuckett.com.
Yes.
And I was like, well, maybe it's just like a complete one-man crew.
Yeah, as of like a couple days ago, there is a hypersex.com. It is very bare bones right now, and it pretty much just links to InversusGame.com.
Yeah, our Softworks.com does the same thing.
Yeah, I bet the mine is, you don't know bare bones until you've seen this. But it's going to get prettier soon, maybe this weekend even. So yeah, the company's brand new. It's almost all set up so I can start getting dev kits because you need that to do that process. Whoever. So that's been the big forcing function there to make that'll happen. So I want to start getting this sorted. Because I think this will be, it's a fun game to have on your TV, and it's a fun game to have controls in your hand, which means I think in addition to like PC and Steam, just putting it on as many consoles as possible. I would love to see that.
So question, more cultural question.
Sure.
Why doesn't, or maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm making an assumption here, but why doesn't everyone at Bungie make games in their free time?
Games are hard to make, and I don't have a wife. So I don't have like...
You heard it here first.
Or children, so I have a lot more...
Ryan Juckett against the institution of marriage on this historical week.
You know, so a lot of people, they were, I think a lot of, especially engineers, right? Engineers always like programming stuff like that.
Yeah.
To actually go and say, I'm going to program a little like tech demo or a little graphics project to actually I'm going to make and finish a game.
Sure.
It's a really big investment.
Yeah.
And you need a certain type of...
Lunacy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to really want to do that.
Yeah.
But it's like my favorite thing to do, so. And I'm sure there are other people there making, I'm not going to talk about anybody else's stuff, I don't know what people want me to talk about. But, but yeah. Like,
there might be other people making games. They're just not as good as this. Obviously.
No, of course not. Yeah, and it's a very different experience too, like working on something really like a AAA game. A lot of people like that, right? It's not, they like having that big bang, you know, or maybe they do.
So I've never actually worked on a AAA game. I've worked only on like the most indie of games. What is it like?
I mean, you get to spend the time to make things better than you could anywhere else, right? Because it's like you were so specialized.
Yeah.
Where it's, you can spend a bunch of manpower on one very small thing and make it, you know, best that mankind's ever seen for that one little thing, right? Where in a small team like this, you have to have a much more. You're always trying to look for things more holistically, how to reduce that problem, right? Where, and it all depends on the team and the game. But I think that's a big difference. I think also you are constantly around lots of very talented people, so you can get a lot more content that's really well polished when you get in like an indie game. And it's just that matter of resources, right? The problems are different because you're also putting that many people together and having to cooperate and, you know, get similar direction and like, you know, you've got direction that's the same. It's harder to do than it is with a few people. So a bunch of different challenges, right? And different people like different challenges of like things they're solving, right?
Yeah.
And you can be hyper focused, right? Like you make a AAA game, your job can be just, you know, doing one type of like building textures,
Yeah.
right? Maybe you love that. Where in this, I do every job.
Right, except for the music.
Except for the music.
Some other guy did
which
the
I
music.
I've considered learning to compose. Like that runs by through my head where I'm like, this
This music sucks.
No,
it's the worst music.
I like it, but I did all the
Sounds
sound
like
effects.
Hexic. What the hell?
It's just, it would be fun to say like I did every little piece.
Yeah.
Right? I think Lucas Pope gets to do that on. My brain is what, Papers, Please. Right? I think he did every part of that.
That's incredible.
Which is really
it's an
cool.
Incredible game too.
Yeah.
So good.
And I have very little experience in music. I had very little in sound stuff, and not that the sounds in this are like, you know, they're kind of a bit retro feeling, but I've been learning a lot in doing that process, or just getting like the ready go to sound cool and robot-y. And
what tools do you use? What's your tool chain?
like the worst. You know, like some of it's like Audacity, like free stuff. A lot of just like free audio There's a free, I don't even know what you call it, digital audio workstation called, I don't remember what it's called. It's like the only good free one out there, and it's nowhere near as nice as Ableton or all the other like, fancy stuff, but I've been doing it all like super low budget, and then using was it BFXR and stuff to start to like get some sounds going, which is like you can go on there, if you look like BFXR up online or SFXR, find this cool like 8-bit sound generator.
So
it's from that.
What about for the whole game? What is your tool chain for the game?
So it's all custom written. It's in C++, ground up. I do have, it's like part of an engine that does support 3D and an editor and all that. This game specifically doesn't need that.
You make the engine yourself?
Yeah, everything's from scratch. It sits on top of DirectX or OpenGL and Xaudio, and the sound mixer is all custom written so that it's the same on all the platforms, and everything is kind of from scratch. You know, because I like doing that stuff.
Yeah.
Right? It's not. I wouldn't necessarily recommend people do that unless they have a lot of experience doing it.
Sure.
Because you're even when it comes down to just like I want to print text and I want to support multiple languages, and like that's not easy problems, right? There's just a lot of those, but I like that stuff.
So Rex75 says, question for everyone: what was the first indie game you played? His was Aquaria.
Okay.
Kazuo, let's start with you since you're over there.
Was Doom back in the day an indie game?
No, Doom had a fund. Doom was paid for.
I guess, like inadvertently, it was probably Jetpack Joyride. Right? Is that indie?
Like in the iOS?
No, like it came out for free on the PlayStation 3.
Did it?
All right. Yeah, for like one of those like brief periods of time, like promoting it was like it's free. It's like okay.
I don't know if that is an indie game. I don't know how that counts. I don't really know.
Yeah,
I don't
I mean,
know enough
that's
about Jetpack Joyride.
It's indie's a weird
It is.
term to define a
Yeah.
hard line on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about you, Ryan?
So far as back I can remember is I remember back like around the time like Doom was coming out and
How
they were
old are
shipping. I'm 34.
I'm 36, so
Pretty
we
sure?
can really,
maybe I'm 33. I think I'm 33.
We can't relate anymore.
Yeah, who knows?
Who cares?
It's around there. I'm 33. So back when they were shipping like CDs full of shareware games and all that stuff, I don't remember where I got it, but there was some subscription service or whatever. I'd get a CD full of just like all these really bad low budget games.
Yeah.
And I remember the oldest one I remember that sticks out is this one called Pong Combat, which is like some team mixed Pong and Mortal Kombat, and it was like super cannot be legal because you would like be a Pong dude and you would pick pretty much like Scorpion and you'd be like up down when you're playing Pong and would shoot like a spear across and like say get over here and stuff.
Nice.
And I remember loving that as a kid. I have no idea if it's any good. I don't know if you can even find it on the internet because this was like
Have you
internet
tried
was
looking?
barely a thing. I have not tried
You
looking.
should try looking.
Yeah.
Pong Combat with a K.
Yeah, I
It
think
has
so.
to have been with a K.
I think it was made by some like college kids at some tech school. You know, before game schools were around, right? I was pre-high school, so it was a long time ago.
Also from that period, I remember we had the shareware books. My mom would she used to work for a large motor company, and they would with their computers get those binders of shareware, and I would bring home. She'd bring them home to me, and I was programming when I was like 6. I think is when I started programming.
Oh, wow.
And I was using them to break things and figure things out. I remember playing. Outside of like ASCII art, like Pac-Man or whatever, which I'm sure wasn't a funded game thing, so as indie as you get. I think one of the things that stuck out only in retrospect is I remember when the Worms series, when Worms 1 was released by what was now Team 17, but it wasn't Team 17, and it was released as shareware by a BBS, and it was uploaded to our my BBS as ratio bait, so the guy could get ratio to download stuff. And I didn't want to open it because it was called Worms. Like, who knows what it was? Just called Worms.
Oh yeah.
It was incredible. I love it. But I think before that, the Psygnosis guys, the guys who became Psygnosis, did the first Amiga version of Lemmings, and everybody told them it was going to be shit and it was going to be terrible and you can't make that game. And I remember playing it on the Amiga, and it changed my world because games were a specific thing when I was that young. They're very clear-cut things, and computer games were not complex, and you couldn't consider things like that, and you couldn't like pre-plan. And the idea that there was a mechanism like your game, stack simple systems that were just going, and you had to modify the world to allow them to react that didn't exist in games. So I remember playing Lemmings, the original Amiga Lemmings, and plus the music, of course. It's a Gnosis game, so the music was incredible. The animation was, for like, I think they were like 8-pixel high guys. The animation was incredible. That was back in the day when 8-pixel was like the entire hand. It's your hand. It was so good. So I guess the original Lemmings would probably be my first indie game.
It reminds me, you say BBS, like I remember Lore, like that Legend
Oh yeah,
of the Red
Legend of the Red Dragon.
That
Yeah,
must have been an indie game.
it must have been.
Right.
It was huge. Yeah, those door games, man.
Yeah.
All those door games were incredible.
That sticks out, and there's another one that really sticks out that is really inspiring to me, and I want to make something that's basically a newer version of it because I liked it so much as a kid. There was this game called Battle City, which is like online, and maybe you get like 64 people online, and somebody would go in as like a mayor, and they would build this little city, and like all the things would be factories that produced weapons.
Sure.
And other people would run around. It's like top down as little like tanks, and they get to like drive over to the thing, and they work at one of the mayor's cities, pick up the weapons, and they have to go out and kill the other cities. And it was like pre, EverQuest and MMOs, but it had a lot of people, and it was this super small thing with these weird little servers that you have to log into.
Yeah.
But it was awesome, and that like asymmetry of it I always loved. And natural selection does it a little bit, but nothing's hit it the way I liked.
Yeah.
And I would love to that's a game I always think about, like if I was just to like kind of take someone's idea and try to like modernize it because it's gone nowhere since then.
Yeah.
I would love to do that game.
That's awesome. That's good. I was thinking back to how this is one day we'll be able to do this, but I was thinking way back to adventure games and how you'd get bored with kind of like walking back and forth all the time. You want to play some action games, so I'd play like a shmup game, and you got bored with how like there was no story in the shmup. So one day I think I'll go ahead and try to make a game that combines the best elements of the shoot 'em up and
There you go.
playing like an adventure game. That's Starr Mazer TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So thanks for being on Starr Mazer TV.
Yeah.
Do you have questions? No. Rigor Mortis, Pong Special Moves fighting game. Yup. Close 15 is his first indie game is the Hugo trilogy of adventure games. Wow, that's recent. It's fairly recent. Cool, man. I guess because the game industry has changed to such a degree where, like, the reason it's hard for you and I to think of what is an indie game is that they were all indie games.
Sure.
Like, eventually, big companies are like, oh, games are a thing, and decided to be studios. But before then, it was just 4 dudes made a game this one time, tried to make a go at it.
Yeah.
So they were all, games were all indie games. So, I hate to be I don't want to do the whole, like, destructivist kind of argument, but look back at the old interviews with Shigeru Miyamoto and, like, how he and 3 guys are sitting in the corner of a Japanese office drawing Mario on graph paper. Like, that's...
Sure.
It's a card company kind of trying to make
yeah.
this newfangled video game thing.
Yeah.
That's an indie game. Like, that's as indie as you get, right? So, yeah. Hugo was DOS, not recent. Okay, sorry. Maybe I'm thinking of a different Hugo.
I've never heard of Hugo.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm thinking of... I was thinking of this, like, sort of hand-animated British point-and-click adventure game. Maybe it's not Hugo. I never played it.
I think I know what you're talking about. I don't know the name.
Yeah, I think it starts with an H or something. No, not that.
Oh, okay.
Not the broken sword thing.
Oh, okay.
No, there's another one.
All right.
Yeah. It had a resurgence on iOS, and I saw it. I'm like, oh, cool adventure games, but I don't want to play that one. It looks dumb. But I don't know that it's dumb. It could be the best game. Let's be clear. I've never played it, so I don't know. So, yeah, there you go. So thank you for coming to Starr Mazer TV. We're going to take a break, and we're going to come back and play some Fallout 4 or Fallout 3.
I wish we were playing
Fallout 4. Vanessa's actually playing Fallout 3. I will sit in for commentary. Are you going to stick around or are you leaving, do you think?
I will play some Fallout 3.
Nice! Cool. We'll have you stick around. So we're going to take like a small break. I'm actually going to eat something very quickly while we set up for Fallout 3. We'll see you guys in a few minutes.
Yep.
This is your cue to jump up and go click on things.